speech tonight will make it fruitful in Jesus' name. Amen. Oh, Lord. Yes. Now, good night and God bless you. I'm W. Lonnie Herndon, Senior Pastor and Overseer of Compassion Ministries and the temporary host of Millennial Moments here again every first Sunday. And it is my privilege tonight to share with you and some millennials. We call them here at Compassion, the crew, as we sit down once again on this night for some millennial moments. Good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Hey, what's up?
Good evening, Pastor.
All right, good. You guys are wide awake, and I'm just excited to sit down with you guys. So much is really happening. You guys do so much in the crew chat, the crew Bible study, but it's been a tough year. I mean, here we are. The end of the year is a few weeks away. I mean, major holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's Eve, and it will not be celebrated the same. How do you sum up this year, everything that you've been through? What have you learned this year? What have you, when you look back over this year, what are some of the things that run across your mind? What are some of the things that you think about? Ebony?
Listen, Pastor, if I was to give this year a word, it would just be That's how I would sum it up.
All right.
But what I have learned during this pandemic is to truly trust the Lord. He is our provision. He's our provider. And this year taught me we are not in control. So I might as well relax and accept that he is driving and he's going to lead me in the right direction.
Dude, what about you, man?
I would say being prepared. being prepared for things that you may not have control over.
Yeah.
And sometimes that means, in the physical, being prepared, taking care of your household and things of that nature, but also spiritually, being ready to fight some things that you might not even known were getting ready to attack you.
Yeah, that's good. Sharif, what about you, man?
I would say this year, I would sum it up as saying shocked. I remember when COVID first happened, I was talking to my sister, and we did not think it was going to go this far. We kept laughing and joking. Something always happened in China or something. We look on the news, and Atlanta has it. And now, Idaho has it. I'm like, wait, the news thing is coming to Philly now. And then, I got time off of work because we didn't know how we was going to operate. But naturally, I learned to have peace through it. It taught me, to stay home, to read my word, have peace, just to find your way back to God. Because I think in the beginning of COVID, I was kind of pulling back and trying to just do my own thing. And God was like, no, in the midst of what's going on outside, this is your time to get back in good relation with me.
Wow, that's good. That's good. What about you, Dr. Jazz?
So similar to Ebony, actually, just fastening up my seatbelt and being along for the ride. I know, especially realizing that anxiety is a struggle of mine, I've learned this year, ironically. But that sometimes I'll take off my seatbelt in the car while God's trying to steer. I'm like, but Lord, do you see that bump over there in the road? Or Lord, what about back there? Because I like that street, but Lord, why are you going on this street? And he's like, Jazz, just trust me and chill and take a step back and fasten your seatbelt because I got you.
Now, what emotions came to the surface or that you became aware of this year through the pandemic? I mean, there were people fearful. A lot of people depressed, dejected, hopelessness. You said anxiety. What are some of the other emotions that came to the forefront this year?
So for me, Pastor, it was a little different. I'm in Philadelphia by myself. I don't have any immediate family. So when we had to, my immediate family is not in Philly. I have family. But when we had to isolate, I really had to isolate, right? There wasn't an opportunity to escape or, to see somebody or to stand outside of my grandma's house and wave, And so for me, just feeling down at times, you really feeling loneliness at times during that particular season. And I even found that as the time went on and I was able to go back to work, being back in the presence of people, it took some adjustment to get used to, right? I found that now I had been alone for so long and I got used to that, then I had to readjust to being around people and getting stimulated again in that way.
Wow.
So for me, loneliness was heightened by the fact that I didn't have a family to kind of escape to.
Yeah. What about you? What about you, Jazz?
For me, one of the first emotions was frustration. Like having many tantrums, essentially, with the Lord. Like, Lord, I planned this, I planned that, and in a sense of entitlement, like, Lord, I've studied, I've prepared, I've made it this far, and then this happens, and literally throwing a tantrum, or even feeling anxiety, realizing that this is going longer than I had expected, and really just trying to trust him, knowing that I can't plan, and I'm a planner, type A, obsessive planner, and all of the plans just had to go out of the window.
What about you, Sharif?
I think just for me, it was just shock. I learned just to have patience through all of this. And going through this whole pandemic, I remember calling my mom one day. And I'm like, Mom, I'm scared. When I'm thinking about this pandemic, I'm thinking about the movie, The Day the Earth Stood Still, World Z. And it's like, we're not going to have no more food. Everybody's going to be it's going to be zombies outside. What are we going to do? And so I'm like, okay, I call my mom, I'm calling my grandma, I'm calling the people in the crew, I'm calling church members, I'm calling everybody. And then I'm circling back and it's like, stop calling my phone. Everything's going to be fine. And my comfort is church and is singing. And, when you get that email, hey, Compassion, the church is not going to be open to, I'm like, now, wait a minute now.
So when you found out the church was the physical doors were going to be closed, it hit you emotionally?
I lost my mind because for me, church is my outlet. I like singing, but even when I'm not singing, I'm down here, rooting the praise team on. I'm in the service. So church has always been, even in childhood, has always been my outlet just to release, to leave everything I have going on at the altar. And my mom was saying, it's just a building. I know y'all tech people like open up your app and still commune with God. You don't need the building. Just open up your app, talk to him, sing to him, listen to your music because you like to sing, and still have that relationship with him.
Yeah. What about you, Duda?
It was definitely some worry, some stress.
Like over what? Like, people look at you like, just drum through it. You know what I mean? Just, you're a musician and you just, get your outlet through playing at times. But what was it for you?
Working in the performance industry, everything got shut down. There are no shows. Wow. There are no, even if people wanted to have shows, the airports and the flights started to shut down. Everything was just like, and then it was the time frame thing too. It was like, maybe no shows for 6 months. All right, no, maybe no shows for 8 months. All right, now there's no shows being scheduled till 2021. So not knowing where financially some of my income was just going out of the window because all these things are being canceled. So the stress of like taking care of home and taking care of family and like just knowing what was coming next and where.
Having a baby on the way.
Yeah. It was just like, what am I about to do? Like from the rip, it was just like, oh my God, stressing out.
Yeah.
Even though I know better than to allow it to go that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the immediate emotions was definitely worry, some stress, and a little bit of discouragement because along with it being work, it is my outlet and working in the field where I love what I do and I get to feel that feeling when I go to work is like I don't even get to touch the stage until who knows when. You know what I mean? So definitely some stress, definitely some worry.
Yeah. Did you see God trying to teach you anything through all of this? I mean, here we are in November, and like honestly, we gotta stop and pause and look back and say, listen, I want to learn the lesson because I don't ever want you to take me through this again. So do you think that there are some lessons what are some of the lessons that you're going to take into 2021? There are people like, listen, 2020, I didn't see it, I didn't have vision for this, but what are the lessons?
I guess one of the words that to actually come to mind for me is anchor and sustainer. So
anchor and sustainer.
Yes.
All right, that's good. Talk about it.
So sustainer, because I realized how much money is an importance to me. So I wouldn't say it's an idol, but it's definitely something that I feel anxious about. So do I have enough savings? Do I have enough this? And working in a college university as well, we went fully remote. They started talking about furloughs, started letting people go. And I was like, Lord, where's the funds going to come from, right? Newly married, home, all these things. And just trusting that he's actually my sustainer. And it wasn't easy. And it's a daily fight to remind myself that, you know what, degrees, money, finances, employment, it's all him. It's none of these things. And then anchor, I think of like just the storms, right? And every day it feels like a new storm and a new tidal wave. And you feel like you get up like in the ocean, you get your footing and then another wave comes and knocks you back over. But knowing that my anchor is not in my degree, it's not in my finances, it's not in my family, but it's in him.
It's in him. What about you, Sharif? What are some of the lessons? I mean, just think, December 31st comes, we won't be hugging. We might be home by ourselves. But you're going to reflect back. I mean, the Bible teaches that for us to reflect back. And I want people that are watching Millennial Moments to reflect back on what did you learn? What are some of the lessons that you learned this year?
So I would sum up this year as you've been through to get to a breakthrough. So going through the COVID and going through everything this year, I've been through a lot of ups and downs with my family, issues that I've been dealing with going back to college, some work situations, but it also made for my testimony. You've been through it, but it's a breakthrough at the end of it.
That's good, man.
Going through college, dealing with racism, which I never thought I would deal with it. From students, from professors, and then, with family, I'm finding that I'm not having traditional family drama. It's, beyond, what you would see on TV or what you would think your family will go through. And then the work situation, mentally, you're preparing for them to say, we gotta let you go temporarily. But it just turned out to not be that way. Home users, we still need you to come out, Sharif. You can't come in my house, but you can do what you gotta do in my lawn. And I'm like, okay, it's fine. But I know my breakthrough is that God put me through all of that to make me stronger.
Yeah.
You know, because naturally I've been through some of this before and I've broken. You know, there was a time when I felt like I lost it all. And some I've lost physically. And I remember, you know, calling the church and I said, Terry, I need you to let me in the church. And, you know, she'll remember I laid right here and, you know, tears, snot, everything is like right here on this altar. I couldn't do anything but leave it back to him.
Yeah.
So, you know, he's saying, you know, you've been through, but now you're at your breakthrough.
That's good. That's good. Ed, what about you? I know you're analytical, and that I know you probably have notes and principles and points and an outline.
Oh man.
Yeah. Tell me.
All of those plans went through the window, right? Yeah. I mean, one of the biggest things that I learned, the Holy Spirit spoke to me clear as day, do not operate out of fear. Mm-hmm. And I made the mistake a couple months ago of operating out of fear, right? So I had my spreadsheets and my savings and everything was looking good, right?
Right.
There was overflow, and then I got laid off, right? And I was like, wait a minute now, you know, this is only gonna last for so long. And I took a job out of fear, and I hated it. So 5 months, I would call Jazz, call people at the crew, complain, cry, all of the above, right? And not really pausing to say, okay, God, I'm laid off, but what do you want me to do? What's the plan? Instead of just going to grab something because it was convenient.
Yeah.
And so I'm learning, don't reach for convenience and don't operate out of fear.
Yeah.
And through this season, I was able to create, and I launched a podcast, and so some good things did, you know, start to come, but definitely when the heat is, you know, cranked up, to not operate out of fear, because you'll look up and you're like, what a mess.
Yeah. Dude, you talked about not being able to go on tour, you know, work with all of the artists that you do. One of the things that God did is really reveal to us, like, yo, you are not in control.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the lessons that we've learned was that an issue for any of you, like being in control? Ebony, your hand immediately went up.
I could put both of my hands
Yeah,
up.
so you have to be in control?
I do, and Pastor, I learned that during this season that I struggle with being in control, right?
Like when you whisper it like that, that means you really mean it. Like when it comes out like,
hey, hallelujah, right? It's down there. I learned that. I learned that I'm a perfectionist, right? And one day I called my best friend. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm a perfectionist. She was like, yeah, I've known it. I'm like, you do, you know? But I learned those things about myself. And I don't know Pastor, the control thing, we need a deliverance ministry just for that.
Just for control.
Just for control, because it's such a fallacy. And you walk around, you're so tense, and you think we're not in control of anything. And I don't understand why I struggle with that so much, and why, I desire to want to be in control, but God has been showing me through the pandemic, you're not in control, and just to relax. And to trust him.
Dude, what about you, man?
I think I don't really struggle with the control thing that much, but I think it definitely.
What does that much mean?
As much as me.
That's like a whisper control. It's not. I don't think it's But I think it definitely ties into the trust factor, and always keeping your trust in God, and keeping your faith in God, and kind of what both Sharif and Jasmine both said, like bouncing back on memories and your history with God and what you've been through before, and the seasons where it might have gotten tough before, and remembering how where your faith and your trust in him, keeping your trust in him, and not going by what you know or what you think how it should go, how that can get you through that season. Like the trust thing is that's a big thing for me.
Wow, that's good. Jazz, tell me about go ahead.
Way to call on me. You knew it. So actually what Duda was just saying reminded me of just like, it's hard sometimes to trust God's track record when you have track records of humans around you, and then we use that to compare with our relationship with God, right? So when I have a feeling of, my biological father wasn't in my life, he wasn't there for me, so how can I then trust my spiritual father to be there? So you know what, Lord, I know you got it for everybody else. I'm not sure if you'll have it for me, so I need to get it from me and trust in my own strength. And then God's like, oh, okay, so I'm gonna let you fall on your face, and then once you get back up, I'll be here, not like your father who wasn't, right? And not like all these other people that have left, but trust his track record and stop comparing everyone else to him.
Yeah, good. Sharif.
I'm like Ebony. Like I have to have control of everything. Like I mentally plan things out. I physically write things out. I know, like even tomorrow, I know how my work day is going to go. Like what I'm going to eat tomorrow. Like what I'm going to wear. So I'm a natural planner. But I think a lot of it comes from presently now taking control of things, but just having a traumatic upbringing, not having control, having people control me, and even through all of this,
that's good. So part of it comes from having people control you growing up.
Yep.
And so you got grown, and it's like nobody never. Yep. Was that it?
Yeah, because pretty much growing up, I grew up being molested, so I was always made to feel like someone has to tell me what to do.
Gotcha.
And I remember not even telling my mom that I was molested until I was in the 12th grade. I remember she was in the kitchen making spaghetti. It was a winter day. And when I told her, I was already 18, so nothing could happen to him legally.
Right.
And she broke down because she's like, why didn't you tell me? Like, what happened? Where was I at? How long was it going on? And it was going on for a long time, and she knew nothing. But it was just the years and years of him controlling me. It made me feel comfortable for men and women to tell me what to do. Even my mom, she's my mom. Go clean your room. But it felt like I needed someone to dominate me. But now I found my voice. Like I know who Sharif is. I know who God called me to be, what He wants me to be, and it's like I found comfort in that. So I now try to help people find their voice because it is hard to be in that shell of someone telling you what to do. And in that moment, I wasn't letting God tell me what to do. I was, leaning on a physical man and woman to tell me what to do. But now, I'm like, God, you got this. And I talk to him all the time. Like, God, you gonna let him cut me off like this? Like, just do what you gotta do. That's the way I know how to talk to him. I'm like, just do what you do. You take control and I'm gonna follow you.
Yeah. What gave you, in this millennial moment, the freedom to talk about what you have been through, the trauma that you have been through in your past? What brought you to that moment where you freely can talk about that? And I admire that, and we're blessed by that, and everybody's watching is blessed by that. I'm so encouraged by that and love you even the more for that. But what gave you the freedom?
Naturally, I know she probably doesn't watch, but my high school counselor, she's a vice principal. Like, still to this day, I talk to her. Like, she counsels me. And had it not been for her, I think I would have told my mom, but it wouldn't have happened in that moment. But she kept saying, Sharif, you have to tell your mom. Like, as a vice principal, I can't tell her for you. That's not my job to tell her. But me counseling you, I need you to tell your mom. You'll feel weights lifted off. And I think the same day she said it was the same exact, day that I told my mom. Came back and told her, and she, me and her are in the office, and she's crying, I'm crying. And again, to this day, I talk to her like, any and everything I'm going through, she counsels me through it. And, I praise her. Had it not been for you to give me that courage to not make me feel like I have to listen to you, because again, I'm used to someone dominating me. And, her saying, Sharif, I know you're used to people telling you what to do, but in this moment, I'm talking to you as a parent. If this happened to my child, I would want them to tell me. So please tell your mom. I need you to tell her. And, my mom now, it made us even closer. And me and my mom have never been as close as we are presently.
Yeah, I appreciate. What was it about, and there are people out there who are friends, who are counselors, therapists. What was it about that counselor? And I really thank God. I say in the school system, we don't have enough appreciation for counselors. But what was it about that counselor that just made you open up?
I think it was naturally, she felt like a second mom to me. And one thing I always do with people, if I feel like you're a mother or a father figure, I never say, I'm gonna call you mom, I'm gonna call you dad. I never, replace my mom and dad with someone else. But it was something about her that just made me feel like, if my mom wasn't here, I feel like this could be my next go-to. Yeah. And, people always felt like, she, gravitated towards me more because I was always in her office. I was always the vice principal's assistant. So I felt that comfort, and I felt like I could tell her anything, and she never, to this day, never judged me for anything. Yeah. Sharif, if you wanted to go outside and be, a freaking butterfly, just do it. Be the best butterfly you want to be. But I love you no matter what you are, Sharif. No matter, who you become to be, I love you. And that's what your mom is going to tell you when you tell her. And that's what she told me. I love you. Now, what she did after that, when she called the family, was totally different. But I got exactly what she said I was going to get. Your mom is going to love you regardless.
Yeah. How have you guys had to comfort other people in this season? Dude, you talk about musicians and like everybody, artists are going through. I mean, nobody's on the road. Planes are shut down. Honestly, how have you had to comfort other people?
Yeah, it's really been a humbling thing for me to even be able to talk to some of my peers in the way that I've been able to talk to them and just encourage them to some of them who may have been doing well or may have been successful in whatever their ventures were, never really had to look to God for, help in a season like this. It's been like, I'm not no preacher dude. I'm not trying to, you know what I mean? But I know that God's called me.
That word is in your voice. You've been encouraging. Tell me what you said.
It's like, yo, you might not know what's going on. You might not know when your next gig is. You might not know where your next check is coming from. But if you go to God and really express your needs, express just where you are, not even just your needs, just where you are, and trust that He has a purpose for your life and a plan for your life, like, you're going to be all right. You know what I mean? Just giving people the encouragement of like, listen, if God wanted it to happen, it's going to happen. If God ain't want you to be there, that's why you're not there, And it's just as simple as that. And just having them see plainly, like, I guess you're right, because we ain't doing nothing right now. So, for me to even have to be in those positions, it's been a humbling experience.
Yeah, that's good. Ed, what about you?
So during this season, I found that I was comforting a lot of single women, right? And we were just leaning on each other. It can be very, challenging because once again, a lot of times people were running to their families or they had their children, but, us single ladies, we were coming together, lifting each other up, wiping each other's tears, even guiding.
Like during COVID now, you were.
Virtually.
Virtually,
each other's tears,
now,
right?
Ed, when you say loneliness, and there are people that are watching that say, like, when we were shut down, you're single, you're by yourself. Describe to me and like honestly what that loneliness is like. There are people, millennials watching that can identify with that. What was that like?
It's just disappointing because not to keep using the same word, but you're alone, right? Or so you perceive yourself to be. Alone. You perceive yourself to be alone, right? And so maybe you feel forgotten. Maybe you don't feel as significant, right? Because many of us feel validated by our careers or the influence that we get to make or the travel, and all of that stopped, right? So
everything that gave you that, for some, I want to put words in your mouth, that validation was taken away.
Correct. And the thing that was really difficult about the season of loneliness is that you have to face yourself. So everything that, I share with you all, that's when I learned I struggle with the perfectionist and then the controlling. And then from that, learning, well, maybe you don't trust God as much as you say because you keep trying to jump in and drive the car, right? And so it forced me to deal with who I really was at my core, right? And for some people, that's too much, right? And so you're going to run to other vices or to people. And during that season of loneliness, I had to make sure that I was running back to the Word and not trying to fall back into old habits because it can happen.
Now, there are people that, like during singleness and, you say like, I like being home by myself. It's just, and I watch what I want. I eat what I want. I ain't got to clean up if I don't want. I do laundry when I want.
And we don't say it with that tone. We're happy. Say it happier.
All right, let me say, I love.
Yes. I get to make what I want to make and go where I want to go. Yes.
So you have to say it much more upbeat.
Well, I mean, for me,
like,
yes.
Yes.
I'm happy.
All right, good.
Some people aren't, but go ahead, Pastor.
So if you don't want to do the dishes,
if I don't have to do them tonight, I'll do them tomorrow.
But then you were Netflixed out.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Yeah, it happens. Yeah. But yeah, I think for some of that was another thing too. Some people during this season also learned how miserable they are as a single, right?
Okay.
And I learned I'm really happy
All right, good.
during
That's
this
good.
particular season.
Say it more happier.
Yeah. I am happy to be single, but I don't want to be single forever.
All right.
Okay,
Amen. You want to put that out there.
Yeah, you know, 2021
She
is
is
coming.
dropping that tonight, live on Millennial Moments. You heard it here first.
Amen. This is free
Heaven
advertising.
receive that tonight in Jesus' name.
Hallelujah.
Let the church say amen.
Amen. Come on with the come on.
Jazz, but what about you? And now,
Can I say one thing about
Yes,
the dishes?
please. Yeah.
So, but when you get married, the dishes double.
Oh.
So, just throwing that out there. I've
Thanks.
learned that we need to wash a lot of dishes since March. I'm sorry.
Thanks for the tip, Jay.
So how have you had to encourage people in this season? I mean, you know, professionally, from a minister standpoint, what have you seen?
So I've seen two things. One, my fellow anxious Annies. And really, like Ebony was saying, having to like face my own anxiety, because prior to this year, I was like, okay, I have like nervous thoughts, right? Or anxious thoughts. But I was like, no, this is like days of like ruminating thoughts. So oftentimes having other women, especially calling me with their anxiety and pushing past my own to pray for them, started to feel like the release and the lifting. So I'm like, Lord, you know I'm struggling with this. And you got Ebony calling and telling me about it.
Right.
And you want me to pray for her, and I'm struggling to pray for myself.
Yeah.
So just really using that to kind of push through. But then also on the flip side of that, non-believers, so those who are fellow therapists, this is the first time in our lives where we're going through the exact same trauma as the clients for which we work, right? So we have clients that are coming in talking about COVID and pandemic and where's the toilet tissue? And I'm like, bro, where is the toilet tissue? Like, right? And I don't know where it is.
Right.
But to feel that exact same thing as them, and humbling as a clinician to say, you know what? I don't have all the answers. And normally my psychologist hat is like, yep, got an answer for this, got a solution for this, a technique for that. And I don't. And just sitting with them with the uncertainty, but I know who has an answer, right? And if you want to know about him, come to compassion. But outside of that, just really settling with, I don't know, and that's okay.
Yeah. What is your go-to? What have you learned is your go-to during the pandemic? And it could be, and I'm, where it's a lighthearted moment. It could be, some comfort food, or that you really have learned. And I don't want you to make that, man, I really learned to go to God. Or, Netflix really allows me to escape. Ed, why are you smiling?
Because my go-to sometimes is disco and Motown, right?
Disco?
Disco. I love.
Look here for a moment. Look here. Just bring the camera in really close right now. And as close as you can get it. Hold on.
I'm serious.
I'm picturing you listening to Michael Jackson and Prince and who
all
else?
of the Donna Summers,
Donna
Kool in the
Summers.
Gang.
Cool in the Gang.
Yeah, all of the old heads. I love 70s music because there's a beat.
You're going to have to marry a pop-pop. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Hey, Pop-Pop.
Hold on, what you say?
I said, hey, Pop-Pop.
He's going to have a church hat and a Cadillac.
Real cool. Diamond in the back.
Anyway, dude, help us out. What was the go-to? Thank you.
Honestly, for me, it's been family. Like, got a brand new baby, and I've been married like a year and 7-8 months.
How,
what month is it? September, a year and 6 months. 1 year, 6 months. How many days? 5. 1 year, 6 months, 5 days.
Amen, sir. Amen.
But yeah, being able to slow down and just chill with the family, and really build up home, and really continue that bond and like that piece of just home, like just the piece to settle in for a little bit and not have to run here. To have the schedule lighten up was a blessing, actually. And my go-to has been home, believe it or not.
That's
home.
good. That's good. Jess, what has been yours?
So there are two. I'm noticing this theme of two for me with my answers. Sorry,
I noticed that tonight.
So the first thing, Pastor Dave and I, this was our first year of marriage, right? And we really got to know each other. I was like, okay, so we're in it. We're really in this. So really learning things about just like what's really important in this season, and petty arguments, petty disagreements, the dishes, come back to these dishes. Those really aren't important, but that we have health, right? That we are stable, that we are in a good space, and that we have God, and really just shifting that focus. And then also I've been taking lunch runs, which has been really nice to just take a step back, because I realized at the end of the day, the weight of everyone's just anxieties that I sat with, their depression, suicide, like it was really heavy. I was like, maybe if I take a break in midday, then it can help me push through the rest of the day. So running has been nice. We'll see what happens when it starts to snow. I don't know, but yeah.
That's good. That's good. Sharif, what about you?
I would say, for the most part, like I just like cooking, so that's usually my escape. I literally would go in the kitchen, put my iPhone out, put on like the music on shuffle, and
shuffle.
Yeah.
We got disco. And
no, shuffle is all the music on my phone. It just randomly plays it.
Okay, all right, I got it. I thought you were doing the shuffle. All right, okay, yeah.
So that's my outlet. And because I love to cook, and I'm not gonna eat it, I'll save some, and then I'm like, it's early. Let me call Vince and Monty, see if they want to play. I'll just call random church members. I'll bring you some on Sunday. Like, do you want me to come over now? I took that on from my mom and grandmom. Like, they cook all day long, and they cook in big portions. So I just cook all day long, and it also like brought me back to a company that I started, which is like a male empowerment company called The Fabric of a Man. So I started to get back into the business that I put on hold, which is a male empowerment, and that naturally came from my upbringing and me being afraid of men, but now me trying to help men find their voice. So before COVID, I was going into elementary schools, going into high schools, talking to some of the guys, like sharing my testimony and listening to what they're going through, like because some guys in the schools don't even know how to tie a tie. So just helping them deal with that. So just trying to get back into my business along with cooking and listening to music.
Yeah, it was your pivot. Anything, Ebony, what else, honey?
Oh, I mean, Sharif hit it, cooking. I really fell
Cooking?
in love, yes, and making things from scratch, and just making cakes, and blessing people with cakes, and homemade cinnamon rolls, and all the carbs. But yeah, definitely the music and the cooking really has, it's getting me ready for Papa.
It's getting you ready for Papa.
Yeah, it's getting me ready.
Now Papa's he likes pound cake,
Yeah,
red punch juice church. You got to be able to make greens for now.
Can I give you guys my address? Just saying. I love dinner.
Yes.
But what did it do for your relationship with God? All of the things we talked about. How has it catapulted you into a deeper relationship with God? Go ahead, Duda.
Back to the time and the time that is now available, it really caused me to look in the mirror and analyze how much time I was giving God versus how much time I wasn't giving God. And also the things that, not only how much time I was or wasn't giving him, but the things that I consistently on a daily basis made time for. And it was just a smack in the face.
Yeah.
Serious smack in the face. Like some things that were not a priority, or that were a priority that should not have been a priority.
Yeah.
Some things of the world, some things that were just like unnecessary that to where like all this time was being wasted in essence because I haven't been putting the necessary time into my relationship with God.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, babe?
So for me, I went through the 7-week spiritual renewal.
And what was that like for you?
It was a game changer. I mean, reading the book, not a fan. Pastor, I enjoy reading, but that book, I just found that I wanted to read it and to really examine, am I a fan or am I a follower?
Yeah.
And that's a tough question to have to ask yourself, right? And then you see, wow, parts of my life, maybe I was a fan, but now I'm committed to being a follower.
Yeah,
and
that's good. That's
so
good.
that book, I mean, participating in that and the Bible studies and just other things I do for my spiritual development has really, it's propelled me to go deeper, to want more and to be used by God in ways and to say yes, right?
That's
a lot
good.
of times, God may want to use you in a way you're like, wait, that's not on my spreadsheet, right? But being the type A that I am, but you have to remember, what does this matter? You know, he can crumble all that in a minute. So if you call yourself a follower, then he has the master plan.
I love that's good. And Dr. Jazz, what about you?
So for me, in this season, I've been studying Mary and Martha and how essentially the world around us can dictate that we become more like Martha, where Christ is like, nah, sis, just hang out at my feet. And for me, I've been caught up in the little details, like Martha fixing the home, making sure this is straight, not really resting and basking in his presence, but nope, I got to do this. Okay, what do I got to do for the church? Got to do this. Nikki called, got to call her back, all of these things. And it's like, sometimes just be still and know that I am God, not you, not your planner, not even your pastor, not your mom, but me, and sit with me.
Yeah, that's good. Sharif?
So the way I've been dealing with COVID and my relationship with God, I look at him as a question and an answer, and he is the question and the answer. So a lot of times when he talks...
Say that again. You're getting heavy tonight. He is the question and the answer.
Yes, he is the question and the answer, and he has the question and the answer. So naturally, when I'm talking to God, I know he has the answer for me. A lot of times he's asking me questions like, are you ready to really, take this time to be with me? Because you've talked to me plenty of times before, and then you took 2 months off, and now you're trying to make your way back. Are you ready? Are you ready to love? Are you ready to, get into your word again? Are you ready to have a relationship with me? But then it's also, he has the answer, and he is the answer. God, I'm ready. Can you help me through this? Sharif, I'm here for you. God, what should I do with this? Just keep following me, and I got the answer for you. So he is the question, and he is the answer. So I've naturally, just found a lot of, this time just to commune with him. Yeah. And it's been through music. He's talked to me even through reality TV. I'm like, I just went through that same situation with a friend, but they dealt with it the ratchet way, but because I know God, I'm dealing with it the spiritual way. So his answers come to me in different forms. So that's why I call him the answer and the question.
Now, I heard about disco over here on the Millennial Moments. I want to know the reality show that you watch.
Well, I don't watch the Love and Hip Hops anymore.
Okay.
Anymore, you've been delivered.
Yeah, I'm slowly migrating to the grandpa. I'm watching Married at First Sight. 'Cause I'm when I get married, let me see how they maneuver through things.
So you graduated to the grandpa? Is that what you said? Mm-hmm. So what does that mean?
So that means a few years ago, I was the person that watched, Love and Hip Hop and
Ratchetness, you like
Black
that.
Ink crew and all. I used to watch all that, all the cussing and drink throwing and all that.
Right.
Now my reality TV is it's disagreements, but the cameramen hype it up. They edit a certain way to look like it's big drama, but it's really not.
Right.
So I'm Married at First Sight, they arguing because they don't know how to communicate with each other. But it's edited to look like, yeah, he's getting on my nerves. Catch what happens next week. I'm really? This is the continuation? This is so corny. Yeah. But I'm liking corny reality TV now.
Okay.
So.
You are watching Millennial Moments. And what do you watch, Duda?
I don't watch that much TV. I watch a lot of sports. I watch a lot of sports, mostly sports.
What do you watch?
I haven't been delivered from the ratchet.
Dr. Jazz!
Real Housewives of Atlanta and Potomac. And I like the glass throwing, and it messes up the weave.
You like the ratchetness, the pulling out of the ponytail? The eyelash coming off?
You had to say the ponytail?
No, I was, Ebony, going back to Donna Summers. Amen. And so what's your reality show?
I don't really watch reality TV.
What TV show does Ebony watch?
That is a good question. Well, I got into Cobra Kai. So it is a spinoff of Karate Kid. So the two men that battled off in 1984. It's a remake. So I'm old school. So
I heard it was one person who watched that. I was wondering about that. No, I'm only joking. But it's a good show.
It is. It's a good show. But I honestly I like upbeat or, positive shows, things that make you laugh.
No ratchetness.
No, because it's just a bit much, personally, for me. The world, I catch the L, so there's enough action on the L.
So her reality TV is to get on at 52nd and Market and to take it into Center City.
That's a show.
And you gonna see a little bit of everything, so I might as well.
Oh my gosh! Listen, I'm telling you, there's producers out there watching. The next hit show is the L.
Yeah.
And if you catch it from 69th Street
For
straight
real.
into Center City, boy, you got some great.
Seriously, you see it all on
The 52 bus spinoff.
Seriously.
Oh
you
my
see it
gosh.
all on SEPTA.
You're watching Millennial Moments, and I am the temporary host of Millennial Moments, and I really want you every month to make sure that you tune in. I just so applaud the work that's happening with our crew. We call them the crew, our millennials here. Pastor Dave and Nicole Collins and the entire team just do a great job of providing ministry. And what we talked about tonight, I want you to tune into the Bible study, because I am certain that Pastor Dave will bring some biblical principles and some understanding to Donna Summers, to Prince, to Michael Jackson, to Freddie Jackson, to Luther Vandross, to Black Ink,
The Housewives?
to Housewives of Atlanta, and to the 52 bus. You will get all of that when you log on and watch our crew Bible study. It's just that kind of Bible study. And the great man of God, Pastor Dave and Nicole, they're going to pour into you. And we've enjoyed this time. Now listen, this is a show you got to share tonight.
Yes.
You really do. And I really just thank the Lord. I really believe that you ought to laugh and have some fun. And I really just appreciate hearing your heart and just having the laughter that we've shared tonight. But I want to encourage you to reflect upon this year. Take a look back. Over the psalmist declared, if it had not been for the Lord on my side. And he wouldn't have, he's brought us through so much. And Sharif, you said it, the God that's done it before, he's going to be the God that does it again. I can promise you that. And so I want to encourage you tonight, if you enjoyed, let us know. We want to hear from you. I want you to share, and we want to hear from you that you want more of Millennial Moments. In just a few weeks, there's a new host that you're going to be introduced to, but you're going to get more of Millennial Moments. And please, on Wednesday nights, you'll get more great Bible study during our crew Bible study. And matter of fact, log onto our website and find out more about ministry here at Compassion. We would really love to embrace you. I'm going to ask Dr. Jazz to get ready to close us out in prayer. I want to tell you this. I can't say enough about the people who are behind the cameras bringing us ministry. They are just a great group of anointed men and women of God, and we celebrate them tonight. We can't do a broadcast without a great team, and I celebrate them all. And so tonight, I want to encourage you as we keep lights on and cameras, and we need more of that in order to bring you more Millennial Moments. If you're led of the Lord, will you just take a moment and sow, regardless of how small the seed is, we need your help. And so please, the information's on the screen. Thank you so much for being a blessing, and most of all, share. And we want your feedback that you want more of Millennial Moments. Well, I'm W. Lonnie Herndon, the temporary host of Millennial Moments, and I really enjoyed sharing with my brothers and sisters in the Lord. Dr. Jazz, if you'll close us out in prayer.
Amen. God, we thank you just for this opportunity to come together as millennials and also with our pastor to share and to profess your word and really to encourage the people and the listeners. God, we do thank you that you are the God that brought us this far. God, we thank you that in spite of every storm, in spite of every furlough, in spite of every pause and pivot, God, that you are with us in the midst of everything, God. You are the same God today, yesterday, and forevermore, God. And we thank you that you've brought us this far and that you are bringing us over, God. Just as my brother described the breakthrough, God, I thank you for the breakthrough even now. For everyone that's listening online, God. Thank you that you are in the midst with our anxiety, God. You are with us, that you are our keeper. You are our sustainer. You are our anchor. In those moments when we feel lonely, God, in those moments when we feel depressed, in those moments when we feel hopeless, God, we know that we can put our trust and hope in you. And God, as we depart from this presence and never from your sight, God, I ask that you will keep us, God, that you will allow us to get home safe and sound, and that you will bring us to this place again. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
You've been listening to Millennial Moments, watching Millennial Moments. Again, log on to our website. I want you to have a great night. And listen, if you laughed a little bit, you were empowered. If something was shared that really blessed your life, then this Wednesday, you need to log on to our Crew Bible study. It's going to bless your life, and let us know that this blessed you. We love you. Have a great night in the Lord.